City Council is called to order for Monday, December 2nd, 2024. Would staff please call the roll?
Mayor Kaufman.
Here.
Councilmember Bergen. Here. Councilmember Coombs.
Present.
Councilmember Gardner. Here. Councilmember Hancock. Councilmember Drinsky. Here. Councilmember Lawson. Councilmember Medina. Here. Councilmember Murillo. Present. Councilmember Sundberg. Here.
There are no mayor's updates. Are there any issue updates? I understand that staff is requesting to take, okay, well, we will be doing at-large council member interviews. Staff has requested that 4B be taken off the calendar. So we should go, we're going to go right into the interviews?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay.
Our first candidate.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
I'm Sal Kasar. Welcome, Salam.
Thank you, Salam.
And you have 2 minutes for opening remarks.
All right. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sal Kasar, a member of the St. Mary Orthodox Church, a husband, proud of 3 children, all born here in Aurora. So it is my honor to stand before you, not only as a candidate, but as someone whose journey has been shaped by resilience, community, and hope. If we haven't noticed by now, I have an accent, as so I have. So, like so many in Aurora, I'm an immigrant who was welcomed by this great city. I speak 4 languages, including Spanish. When I arrived in Aurora as a political refugee from Ethiopia in 2007, I was welcomed with open arms. Aurora is more than a city to me. It's a symbol of opportunity and diversity. For the past 17 years, Aurora is the only place I have lived. I'm proud to call myself both an American and a resident of Aurora. I have a unique perspective and a unique example for American dream you and I know. Every year, my children and I serve Christmas dinners to individuals experience homelessness and distribute clothing collected through the churches. This tradition is more than just an act of service. It is a way to teach my children the importance of compassion, giving back, and caring for others. I have dedicated my life to serving the community and great country that has given me so much. I have worked with elected officials, local and different community leaders to advocate for small business and promote civic engagement. My mission has always been to strengthen bond that unite us and create opportunity for everyone. I served on advisory committee with the former Congressman Mike Kaufman, addressing key community and international issues. I have taken on a leadership role with my church, which serves as a hub for the African diaspora. I was a leader in establishing a sister city relation between Aurora and Adama City in Ethiopia to foster cultural exchange and cooperation. My contribution has been recognized with the 2024 Spirit Award from the City of Aurora and the 2023 Achievement Award for organizing the Ethiopian Congressional Briefing in the U.S. Senate. If I elected, I will continue to journey to work on economic development, public safety, affordable house, including addressing homelessness. Aurora is already a dynamic and interconnected city, and together we can amplify the voice of our city diverse residents and champion opportunity for all, one where every resident feels seen, secure, heard, and valued. Thank you.
Councilmember Bergen.
Yes, thank you for being here and for the position, for the vacant
Stacy, and you actually answered my question, which was going to be, can you tell me your priorities? So you mentioned economic development, public safety, and there was one more. What was the other one?
So the homelessness.
Oh, homelessness. Okay. So I will change my question. Can you tell me a little bit about your understanding of city council and the services we offer?
So my understanding is the city council that is, pretty much serving the community, the grassroots. So, it's not like the political side of, the aisle. I believe the council is serving the city of Aurora, and regardless the political.
And if you could just elaborate, how do we serve those residents? Like what
So
services?
we got to serve the the grassroots, the community. We got to very connected with the community. It's so deep, and we got to go to the grassroots and be connected.
Okay, thank you very much.
Councilmember Coombs?
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and speak with us. My question is, what are your core values as a leader, and how would you apply those to public policies within the city?
So my core value is the family, and then also serving the community, and honesty, integrity with the community that we all say we will serve the community. So integrity, values, and family is my values.
And how would you apply that to policy specifically?
So I will, so I'm pretty new for this, but, obviously I'm gonna, start studying, see how we can, convert it to the policies, like the values, any issue that, concerns to the community, I can, we can study, see how to, change it to the policies.
Councilmember Murillo. I'm sorry, Councilmember Gardner, stand corrected.
Thanks for replying. Why do you think you should be on city council?
So I feel like, where I came from the immigrant community, Ethiopia is the second largest immigrant community to the next to Hispanic community. So we believe strongly that, we need to have representative. And then I already, I want to serve the community and always so I can, contribute to, my community, to whole Aurora City. So.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hancock.
Thank you for applying. We appreciate you being here today. Can you name one thing that really ignites your passion to serve on this council?
It's the diversity. So Aurora is, a diverse city, and then, we all want to serve the community. And when I came to this country as a refugee in 2007, so Aurora is, the place that, welcomed me so much. And, this country is giving me, everything. So I want to serve that. I want to give back to my community. So because Aurora serves me a lot, and it's time to give back to the community. So that is why.
Thank you.
Councilmember Jerensky.
Yeah, are you proudly American?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, I am.
Thank you.
Pretty proud.
Councilmember Lawson. Not here. Councilmember Medina.
Thank you for replying. My question is, what steps will you take to ensure you will represent all of Aurora in all 6 wards? Because they all have unique areas and different things going on.
So again, I will reach out all the community regardless, regardless the background. I will try, I'll try my best to reach every corner of the community so I can be the voice for the, to all Aurora community, not only one community, but for everybody.
Any further? No, let me remind the council that you have 4 minutes each. So if you can, you are free to ask multiple questions. Okay.
And neither has Tim.
Well, I'm sorry. Councilmember Medina, do you have any further? Okay. Let me go back since Councilmember Coombs, did you have any further questions?
No, I kind of want to stay consistent with each appointee, so I
okay.
want to ask them just the
Okay.
questions.
Well, I think everybody
as
was
I
aware
wrote
that
them.
they did have 4 minutes, so. Councilmember Mario.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that before we move to the second round, that Steve and I both have a chance to ask questions. Thank you for applying. It's not easy, and
Yeah.
for your service. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you would define the role of policing in Aurora, and if there are any reforms or any changes you'd like to implement?
We all need to support the law enforcement. I know we got to work hard to have a public trust between the law enforcement and the community. And regarding the policing, Colorado State AG has some kind of state settlement with Aurora, so we should make sure that process is working. So, but regardless, we got to work. We got to go back to the community and teach to our communities to how to respect and how to communicate with law enforcement. But we really need to work together to bring the public trust between the law enforcement and the community.
I still have time.
Yes.
How will you prioritize the health and safety of the community, given your?
So I'm studying on that, but as a part of my, I will. Yes, we need to give them priority. The health. Because always we have pandemic stuff like that. So I believe we got to have a lot of resources to teach the community. So, but I will study more on that.
Okay. Are there any, I guess, relationships that you have with existing council members that might influence how you vote moving forward?
No, I don't. I'm a grown man, so I can make a decision on myself. So I don't have it.
Thank you.
Councilmember Sundberg.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You know, I once sat in your seat to try to fill a vacancy. I know the process. Let's see, a couple questions for you. From your perspective in the community, what do you see as a couple of Aurora's bigger challenges?
So the public safety is a big challenge, and and then for small business, we need to have a safer street, and we need to have a safer community for the small business owners. My community owns, my community will have more than 300 plus small business owners, and the crime and all that stuff is we really need to work on it. So public safety is something that our communities really care about.
Gotcha. Any other issue that comes to mind?
So affordable houses, and one of the issue, and then economic opportunity. We need to we need to work hard on working on with different community that can bring business and some skills to our community. So yeah.
Final question. What do you do to help bring people together in community in your efforts? What's been successful for you?
So myself, as a migrant, I came to, again, so I can contribute to this great city. I've been working with a different community, including the African leadership and then other, communities. I used to work with Congressman Mike Hoffman when he was in the Congress, and we did work, something called House Resolution 128 that was ultimately passed by the U.S. House. I did help on that. with the current mayor. So I have that experience working with everybody, so I can bring that unity to our community. So here in Aurora.
Great. Well, thank you again. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go. Yeah, sure. If there are any follow-ups, if you're within the 4 minutes, please proceed.
Thank you. Absolutely. You mentioned economic development, public safety, and homelessness as your priorities. Can you talk about your vision for economic development for the whole city?
So, as I said, Aurora is interconnected with, different cities. And then, I believe we got to, work hard on, the Denver Metro District area so we can have, economic growth, which we already have it. But, we got to work with different cities so we can, come together as a strong economy, city of Aurora. But I will study more. But yes, I highly believe that Aurora is interconnected with everybody. So we need to work hard on that.
Thank you.
Any other follow-up questions? Okay. Can you, immigrants to this country have a lot of entrepreneurial energy, but sometimes, aren't familiar with how to navigate the administrative or regulatory processes of starting a business or how to access loans. How do you think, as a member of council, you could assist in that process in terms of developing policies to capture that entrepreneurial energy and to lift our entire economy?
So again, the immigrant community is, one of the, big resource that can, provide to this great city of Aurora. So as I said, we do have a lot of, small business owners that come from different countries. So I believe, we can have resources, we can have some kind of training, some kind of informational session with immigrant community or other communities so that they can understand what the loan process is, what the small business look like. We need to have a safer or a good a good friendly business environment. So I believe we need to have more connection with small business owners so that they can understand what are the resources we have as a council.
I'm sorry. Please.
I thought you were.
No, I'm not done. Thank you. The Ethiopian community is somewhat divided between the Amhara, the Oromo, and the Tigrayan. What can you do to unite the community?
So where I work at, the Ethiopian American Civic Council is designed to bring people together. We're not like one ethnic group, trying to bring, from a different ethnicity background. We always see as a human being, not because of, this guy is this color, this guy is this color. We just see as a human. So I do work hard, as a church. A church leader will bring people from different, ethnic background, so we can all work together. So I have a big role on that.
Okay. Can you describe in a little bit more detail the work you did with me when I was a member of Congress and the significance of that work?
I was on advisory committee with Congressman Mike Kaufman, and so I used to advise him on the community issues, international issues. One of my successful is called the HR 128, that is respecting human rights and respecting human rights to the African countries, and then we were successful. That was passed by the U.S. House 2018, anonymously, and then that was the first African bill or resolution that Congressman Mike Kaufman and myself work on it. But thank you for that again. So, but we did work hard on passing the resolution that is helping to all African immigrant community here in Aurora, and I was a part of this team.
Okay. Ganalu.
I'm a second.
Councilmember Hancock.
Let me ask you just a kind of a personal question. What do you think, or how do you think the community feels about you being here today, applying for this position?
So my community is, right now everybody's praying. We, again, this is, new thing for us as, being an immigrant. American dream is, we all enjoy the American dream. And, our community really want to be here in the city council that we can see ourselves. And so, we can really engage in local policies, and other stuff so we can be the owner, we can be the, part of the city council. And it's a great thing for our community, and it's a great thing for our city because Aurora is diverse, and then we all preach about diversity, how Aurora is unique. So here I am with my accent, to be the representative of the Ethiopian American community as well.
Councilmember Jerensky.
Yeah, I just want to go back and clarify, because you said you speak 4 languages.
Yes.
Obviously English, you mentioned Spanish. What other languages?
So the Ethiopian, Amharic, and Giz, that is, mostly spoken in Ethiopia. So I speak for English, Amharic, Giz, and then Spanish.
Very well. Further questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have a 1-minute closing statement.
Okay.
Ouch.
All right. So
Ouch.
thank you again. So Aurora is a vibrant and diverse city, but like many cities across America, we face significant challenge from reducing crime to creating economy opportunity that will lift our poorest families out of poverty, of expanding the inventory of affordable housing so that everyone who works here can afford to live here. As an immigrant to this country, I bring a unique perspective and grounded in resilience, hard work, and unwavering belief in the power of inclusion. As a council member, I will work tirelessly to make Aurora a place where all families, regardless of where they came from, can thrive. My journey is a proof what's possible when diverse communities come together, and I am committed to ensuring that Aurora remains a city of opportunity for everyone. I would deeply appreciate your vote so I can work with you to help make Aurora a city of resilience and boundless potential, a city that truly reflects the best of America. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Oh, she's not.
She's going to check. They were going to be here 20 minutes prior to each interview, so we'll see.
Should we just go with her out of order then,
I mean, I think Katie's going to check to see if our second interview is here early. If not,
or? Oh, I see what you mean, because we went faster.
Yeah, we went a lot faster than we expected.
Okay.
We always go faster.
Okay.
Sometimes.
When's the next person?
Go faster. I don't know. No, there's still.
You notice I stayed out of that.
I just want to say for the record, I put it in.
You did, for the record, I stayed out of it, so.
I also
No, I changed my password over the weekend, but now it's not.
Well, yeah, I would have filled out my.
I believe you have to do it in the city building to change your password.
Yeah, it's working. One's down on the bottom, there's like a VPN information, I think. Yeah, it's a Global Protect. It's a VPN. If you sign up, it's on the bottom, there's like a little carrot guy on the tray next to the network icon. If you click on that little up arrow, it pulls up other stuff, and then one of them is a little hurt. And if you're not connected to the
All right, Danielle Lammon, thank you so much for being here and for applying for the at-large vacancy on the Aurora City Council. You have 2 minutes for opening remarks.
All right, great. Thank you, everybody, for this opportunity to interview with you today. I'm Danielle Lammon. I've been a resident of Aurora for the past 12 years. My husband is an Air Force veteran who retired out of Buckley, and my son is currently serving in the Navy. My children have graduated from Cherry Creek Schools, and my oldest daughter is a teacher in Aurora Public Schools, and my grandson is a student in Aurora Public Schools. We have definitely been involved in the city since we have become a part of it, and 10 years ago I opened up my small business in Aurora and have kind of taken a deep dive into the city. We've gotten involved in multiple boards and commissions, projects over the years, and a couple of my highlights include being a graduate of Leadership Aurora, where we had a class project on the Homeless Connect Day, and we created the Sensory Garden at Starkey Ranch. Some of the other highlights I have is being a Rotarian with the Aurora Rotary Club, and we've partnered with the city on projects such as Red-tailed Hawk Park and the forthcoming educational fire safety trailer that we're hoping to have the funds raised by May to give that a presentation in the springtime. One of my accomplishments and proudest moments is creating my own foundation, which is supporting the Dolly Parton's Imagination Library program for the city of Aurora, and that's a free gifting program for children birth to age 5. And then on boards and commissions I've served on over the years, the latest has been Citizens Advisory Budget Commission that I was appointed to 5 years ago. And I've been voted as the chair for the last 2 years, which I've presented to all of you on our findings and have taken deep dives into the city budget and have a pretty good understanding of where our city's at and what our needs are. As you can see, I'm pretty passionate about serving our community, and as a council member, I bring a strong background in having an entrepreneurship background as well as nonprofit leadership. I hope to expand my current involvement to foster a thriving, safe, and economically strong community. And one of my main goals is to collaborate on current initiatives to continue and implement revenue generation for the city, to have support for our essential infrastructure and services that are going to meet the needs for our expanding planned growth of the city.
Good time. Councilmember Bergen.
Thank you. Thank you for applying for the vacancy committee. Could you talk about your priorities? You mentioned one of them, but your priorities if you were to be on council, and how you would pursue those priorities under our form of government.
So a couple of priorities is public safety. I think we definitely need to make sure that we have enough funding to support our fire and police. That I know we have a deficit right now where we're trying to build a few more fire departments that are needed in our expanding developments. And the other one is, besides revenue generation, is also just expanding that quality of life when it comes to our citizens and having safe places for people to come together and commune, whether that's in senior centers, youth centers, and having a larger venue for the arts and entertainment.
And just to follow up on form of government, are you familiar with our form of government in the city?
Yes. So I understand. Yeah, I understand that we have a responsibility to our citizens and also a steward of our budget to make sure that we're living within that budget, but being able to offer services, but having the priority of services being our infrastructure and public safety.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Coombs.
Hi, thank you for being here today. My question is, what are your core values and how would you apply those values to pursuing public policies?
Core values are being an honest, ethical, authentic person, And I've taught my children that as well, that you may not understand everybody's decisions, but to be able to respect them and have dignity for all.
And how would you apply that to public policy and implementing public policy?
I would apply that by just living on my authentic self with looking at all of the issues, taking both sides into consideration, pros, cons, and making the best decision for the citizens.
All right, thank you. Sorry, that's all I have, Mayor.
Councilmember Gardner.
Thanks for your application. Why do you think you're the best choice for this vacancy?
I think I'm the best choice because I have a fundamental understanding of our city budget, being on CIBC for the last 5 years, getting to take a deep dive and study what the needs are, where our deficits are, and how we can expand. I also think that being completely involved, immersed in the city between family, personal, business, it gives me a really great understanding of what our citizens need across the whole city and what they're looking for. I also take time to make sure I attend town hall meetings just personally, as well as any kind of city meetings that we have when we're getting community input, such as when we are looking at expanding Red Tail Hall Park, when we're looking at doing the buildings for potentially having a venue in our city, really listening to what our citizens want, just from even just being a business owner and what I can offer personally.
Thank you.
Further questions? Councilmember Hancock.
How does your family feel about you jumping into this hornet's nest right now?
My family's very supportive. My husband's very supportive. In fact, actually coming here, I was getting lots of texts and messages of encouragement and "You got this, Mom. You can do this." So they're really great. And my husband loves being my arm candy and holding my purse. That's kind of a joke, but in the success I've had in my business, there's been a lot of opportunities that we've gone on, and that's kind of what he takes on as his role, is being holding my purse. So it's kind of fun, but it's good. We're all in.
Further questions? Councilmember Hancock. Councilmember Drinsky.
100% proud to be American. I love being an American. I love this country. I enjoy traveling, and I've traveled quite a bit and have a lot more travel on my horizon, but it always makes me be really grateful for the freedom that we have here. And I love being an Aurora citizen. It's really interesting to see, with being in the military, the places we've lived, which thankfully has mostly been in Colorado, but Aurora's home. It's interesting looking at the last 30 years of being with my husband, that the places we've been, this is where home is.
Thank you.
Councilmember Lawson. Oh, she's not here. Councilmember Medina.
Thank you for applying. What steps will you take to ensure you will represent all wards in Aurora?
To represent all boards?
All wards.
Oh, wards. I'm sorry, wards. I thought you said boards. Wards.
Not wards.
I think continuing my involvement. I currently attend quite a few events throughout the whole city, whether that's a ribbon cutting as an ambassador on with the Aurora Chamber, supporting other business owners, going to events, fundraisers. I have a little thing that I love silent auctions, so I tend to overspend a little bit just because I love being able to support all the other nonprofits in our community. But I think it's important for our city to spread the wealth, if you will. We have a huge city. I think, what are we up to, 177 square miles, over 400,000 citizens. We all have needs, and everybody, though, in the end, I think wants to be treated with dignity and have respect and a safe place to live.
Thank you. Further questions? Good. Councilmember Murillo.
Hi, thank you for applying. Can you define the role of policing in Aurora and any reforms you might like to see, if any?
Define the roles of the policing in Aurora?
Define the role of policing.
Policing, got you. I think that we have an amazing public safety, between our fire and our police departments. I think we definitely have a need to get more officers and firefighters to protect our citizens. There is that sense that I believe as a parent and personally that you want to feel safe when you go out into your community day, night, or in an emergency in the middle of the night. And so I think that there needs to be a balance of meeting our citizens where they're at as far as meeting the different requirements. I guess when we look at not all calls need to be an emergent fire, sirens blazing, but if it's a mental health, having the resources there. If it is an emergency to save someone's life, having those resources there. And then that overall of having that, building that community. I guess that's the one thing. And I see that our departments are working on that, and I would love to encourage and work towards helping them build more of that community piece.
Okay. Feel free to expand on this follow-up question. How will you prioritize health and safety, given your answer?
Health and safety? I think just making sure that we're using our community resources that we have that are going to support our departments with having, I know we have a partnership with, I believe it's CU Health, for having mental health crisis staff when they go out on calls, when there is like a non-emergency medical type. So I think just looking at giving that support, finding the financial backing that our departments have what they need to really flourish and protect our community.
Thank you. And last, do you have any existing relationships on city council that would influence your vote if you were to get appointed?
Any current
Existing relationships with council members that would influence your vote if you were appointed?
Oh, no, I was like, no, just I would say a professional. I feel like you and I have not personally met, but I feel like I've met and worked with almost everybody in this room on one project or another. And so I really think any decision that is coming down to public policy is really going to be how is it going to benefit the community overall and the infrastructure of the city and the city budget.
Councilmember Sundberg.
Thanks for being here, Danielle. So, a city of this size is going to have some challenges, and we have our challenges. Could you name a couple of them that you feel still need to be addressed, as well as a couple of our city successes?
So some things that I think we still need to address is having a venue that is going to bring in sales tax into our city. I think it's really important for a city our size that we don't have some kind of arts and entertainment venue that is generating revenue. And we have such a need for it to keep that money in our city. So that's one area I feel like we can expand on. I think giving our public safety support so that we can hire more staff. And I think that's definitely an area. And I also think that an area that we can improve on and I would love to see develop is utilizing buildings that we have that aren't being utilized, creating safe spaces and revitalizing North Aurora so it becomes a safer place for people to have more housing and businesses to flourish there. Some of our strengths, we have an amazing budget. We have a great, amazing budget director. I think we have like a AA+ rating when it comes to the city getting finances, and I think that's a huge deal. I think this council and the city itself and all the employees have done a great job when it comes to our budget management. When we look at any of that, and I guess that's just my experience on CABC, seeing where we come from and hearing Greg brag about this council, brag about the staff in the city, and the good job that everybody does as being a good steward of our financials.
Gotcha. Just one last follow-up.
Please.
You mentioned revitalizing or utilizing empty buildings. What do you feel the city's role could be in that?
Depending on if the city owns it or if it's something empty in the city through policies or developing partnerships to get that developed by other businesses, developers, so everybody has a unity and a common mission to see that area get revitalized.
Very well, thank you. Danielle Lammon, what would you see in terms of economic development for our city?
What do I see as economic development?
How would you see it?
How would I see that? I would see that by enticing businesses to come and set up shop, if you will. I know we have a lot of our larger growth going on over by I-70 with our big warehouses, but I think it's important to have local small businesses as well that are enticed to come into our community, and some of our big box organizations that are going to bring even more jobs and have a product that we're going to bring in more sales revenue that stays in our city.
How about affordable housing? How would you address that?
I think affordable housing is something that, as the city, that we can, again, partner with developers, because I don't feel like it's the role of the city to provide affordable housing, but I feel like it's a role for us to partner with the community, businesses, developers, to give that opportunity. So if there is development where we can create, which it's popping up throughout the city, where you have retail space on the lower and more affordable housing, apartments, condos above, that is kind of creating that safe, walkable space. Everything has a walkable score, and giving our city more of that walkable score so that the money stays here in the city.
Okay. Great, thank you. Does anybody else have a follow-up? Okay. Yeah, 1 minute for a wrap-up. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope I've been able to share my passion about the city, what I look forward to, and how I can potentially partner with everyone here. And I just look forward to the opportunity as being your co-counselor and making this city great and safe for our community.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Jeff, we'll see you, right? Yep.
We are about an hour ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I'll Jonathan will be here also. What's that? Yeah, he's here. They were instructed, I guess, to come 20 minutes before the interview time. His wasn't until 4:15, so.
We have not.
I don't know, Katie's
I'd
checking.
be a little surprised if he was here.
Yeah, I would be too, but yeah.
Well, we might just take a break until 4 o'clock.
Probably plan to take.
If he's not here, we'll take a break till 4 o'clock.
I guess we should make sure that we can.
We'll check with Kate. I think that would sit on your back at 4:15.
4:15.
Yeah.
We'd be starting at 4:15. For December 2nd, 2024 is called back to order. Do I have to do roll? Okay.
You can, I would do roll, because there's some council members missing, so.
Would clerk please call the roll? Here.
Councilmember Bergen.
Here.
Councilmember Coombs.
Present?
Councilmember Gardner. Here. Councilmember Hancock. Councilmember Drinsky. Councilmember Lawson. Councilmember Medina.
Here.
Councilmember Mario. Present. Councilmember Sundberg.
Here.
Okay.
You have 6.
Yeah.
I was counting 2. I'm gonna hold this up again.
I'd be just feeling for Drinsky, right? A proud American.
Oh, yeah, you could.
Yes, yes.
I mean, what would we say if they said?
I have, what was the McCarthy hearings? I've never been a communist.
Have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
You know what? As much as it's a surprise to some people, I have never been a member of the Communist
I did that when I was in a state representative. I did that as a joke when we did a hearing, but the press didn't think it was funny, and they wrote like it's really negative.
Because they took you serious, because you're very serious.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone.
Jonathan McMillan, thanks so much for being here today and for being considered for an at-large position on the Aurora City Council. And you have 2 minutes for your opening statement.
All right, well, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jonathan McMillan. I am a resident of Aurora, obviously. I've been in Aurora, I did the math today, about 15 years. I'm a father. I am a husband. I'm a homeowner. My son actually goes to school within walking distance of this building right up the street on Alameda and Buckley, or Airport, depending on which side you're on. And because of all that, I'm greatly invested in the present and the future of Aurora. I have committed pretty much the second 2/3 of my life to youth violence prevention, working with law enforcement to build better community relations for the better health and safety of our young people, their families, and the community. And I feel as though serving on council will help me fulfill my mission of just being a good public servant. I am a believer in servant leadership, something that was taught to me by my grandmother, my father, my grandfather, and I have worked really hard to make them proud. I hope I'm making them proud. As many of you know, I've served in capacity in government before as the director of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention at the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. I was the first director of that office. I've also worked as the first director building and standing up the Office of Youth Violence Prevention for the City and County of Denver and the Office of Children's Affairs. I've actually had experience in City Council before as a council aide, as a public community affairs liaison for Councilman Brooks in the City of Denver. So my background goes all the way from working in community to working in city, and now maybe going back full circle and hopefully finding a space for my passion to be prosperous for myself and my family, my community, and the other residents of Aurora.
Thank you. First questioner, Councilmember Bergen, for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for applying for the vacancy position. Can you tell me a little bit, or tell us a little bit about your priorities if you were to be selected for City Council?
Yes, yeah. That's an easy one for me. First and foremost is public safety and public health. And I combine the two because most people tend to think of them as separate buckets, but truly if you look at what the priorities for anybody, any person are, is that they want to have a space where they're healthy, an opportunity to be healthy, and spaces to be safe and healthy. And so those are my first two priorities. And so obviously addressing some of the issues that have made the headlines about, say, violence in the communities and whatnot, but taking it even further, making sure that people have what's needed as a social determinant of health to provide for their own safety and health. So upward economic mobility opportunities, education, a fair living wage, opportunities to start a business and be in business if that's what they choose to be. So right there is health, safety, and I would say economic upward mobility opportunities. Second to that, I would add in creating pathways for attainable and affordable housing. And if I could put a hyphen in that, the homelessness issue. Making sure that we as a city are doing whatever we can to make sure that every resident has the opportunity to have a safe, warm, dry house, a roof over their heads. Again, working in my previous capacity at City Council, there was a huge impact of the homeless population in the district in which I worked. It was right down there by downtown and by City Park, and where the majority of that happens. And in that time, I got to meet a lot of people who were experiencing homelessness and understood that there wasn't a quick fix. There wasn't a simple solution. It's a really complex issue. But I still, as a public servant, see that it's my duty, our duty, to make sure that opportunities are presented for people to work their way out of homelessness, no matter whatever the root cause is. And then the third piece is, I mentioned it briefly, but economic opportunities for everyone, whether that's for the employee who is working for RTD and needs to make sure that they have a future job, or that's someone, again, who wants to enter into small business. I myself am a small business owner with one employee. So I understand the challenges of what it takes in order to be successful in the world of trying to scale a business that's serving people.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Coombs, you're recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you so much for being with us here today. My question is, what are your core values, and how would you apply those values specifically to public policy?
I think I've probably spoken on one of my main core values is servant leadership. I am not shy about my background. Growing up in the city at the time I did as a young black man, I was involved in some less than positive behaviors. I was involved in a gang when I was in my teenage years and early adulthood. And it took me being incarcerated in order to figure out what I needed to do better in my life. And I have spent essentially the last 25, 26 years walking that path, giving back to a community which I felt like I took from. In that sense, I feel as though there are so many young people, and even I would say their parents and their families, that are looking for just an opportunity. And it takes those of us who enter into public service to do so through a mindset of servant leadership. It's not about being recognized in headlines or the the congratulations and all of that comes with it. Is really about using your position to leverage opportunities for others. My second value would be family. My family means everything to me. I recently celebrated my 14th year of marriage, which I recognize after the 12th year, that was the longest thing I've ever done in my life. So, and I've been much better because of it. You can see my growth and progress over the last 14 years. And how I apply that is making sure that every resident in Aurora has the opportunity to raise strong, healthy children through modeling what healthy relationships look like. And healthy relationships start with opportunity. And then the third one is I do believe in I would say I value the best word I could use is autonomy. I think that people should have the freedom to live their lives the best way that they know how, if given the resources to do so. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Gardner, you're recognized for 4 minutes.
Thanks you. Thanks for your application. Why do you think you're the most qualified person for this position?
I believe I'm the most qualified because, one, because I'm doing it because I feel as though I'm doing it for all the right reasons. And I know that may sound egotistical or self-centered, but I truly hope that it doesn't. I applied because, just quite frankly and honestly, I see the headlines, I see the tension that sometimes exists on this council, and I feel that I'm a very pragmatic, moderate person, and that in many ways I represent the typical Aurora resident, a person who doesn't care about right or left, but just wants a better lifestyle or opportunity or chance for a better lifestyle for themselves. I know that's how I feel living on First and Peoria, where I'm not in an affluent space. I hear gunshots in my community. I walk down to the King Supers and I see the people who are homeless and hanging out and not knowing where to go for help. So all of those things inform my worldview. But also, what also informs my worldview is I've been there as well, and I've seen how a person can improve themselves if given a chance, particularly by the agencies and departments and divisions within government that are supposed to do that for our people. Working before for council, I had the opportunity to, as I mentioned, get to know the people who were experiencing homelessness in our district. And there was one young man who had moved here and lost his chance for housing through no fault of his own. And he actually every day would get up and he would clean up the camp where they were staying. And he would be security for the young women or all the women who lived in that encampment. And through the connections that I had made with our local police department, I got him a job with the homeless outreach team for the Denver Police Department. With the connections that I had through our council district, I was able to connect him to one of the developers who had housing available for him temporarily until he got on his feet. That's the way that I look, is seeing what resources are out there and connect them so that people are able to benefit from them to benefit themselves. So very long story short, I feel like I'm the most qualified because I'm very empathetic, I'm very pragmatic, and I'm human and human-centered first.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hancock, you're recognized for 4 minutes.
Well, thank you for applying. We appreciate you being here today. I'll ask you the same question I asked the others. How does your family feel about you jumping into this hornet's nest?
Oh, that's a great question. Did not plan for that one. My wife is I don't know if excited is the right word, but she's supportive. As you, I think, hopefully have demonstrated, I have a servant leadership mindset and mentality, and in my 9 to 5, although it's rarely 9 to 5, I'm in the space of serving people, and so she knows that's who her husband is, and she supports it. And my son, literally the text that I had right before I walked in here was, "I'm proud of you. You got this. Good luck." more extended, my father, who was he was a fireman for the Denver Fire Department for 30-some years. He was more apprehensive than anyone because he, as a civil servant, he knows the challenges that exist. But I believe, well, he has said that he's proud of me, and that makes me happy to make him proud. But Councilwoman Hancock, I'll be very honest with you. The person who I hope is the most proud and happy for me has actually passed away. It's my grandfather. Because everything who I am now, I tell people, if you like me, you would love him. And so I hope that I'm making him proud. Thank you.
Other questions? Councilmember Jareski, you recognize for 4 minutes.
Yeah, my question is just, are you proud to be an American?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's a yes or no question. I'll elaborate a bit. Absolutely, I am proud to be American. Also recognizing that there's room for improvement. But there's no other country that I would ever want to live in. I think about as bad as anyone could have it here. I'm thinking of someone maybe experiencing homelessness. There's still an opportunity for them to get a sandwich somewhere in the metro area that has mustard on it. Because we have so many people and organizations and agencies that are willing to step up and at least see the humanity in a person, no matter what their experience is, and help try to provide for them. And another thing that makes America so great is the First Amendment. The things that we may criticize, we're free to do so without fear of repercussions or threats against us. And so I feel it's each of our duty to use our voices and use the freedom that we have to help make this country a better place.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Further questions?
No.
Councilmember Medina, you are now recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you for replying. What steps would you take to ensure you'll represent all the wards in Aurora since you're an at-large councilperson?
So this is actually one of the easier questions for me because what the process that I would take is something that I'm so familiar with. So currently I am, my full-time job and actually my last 2 jobs have had either statewide purview or a citywide purview, and working with a very complex topic, gun violence, or as I call it, firearm-related incidents and violence prevention. When I took over my role at the state, one of the first things I did was go on a statewide listening tour to hear how the issue of firearm-related harm or violence, however that showed up in those communities, how it impacted those people. I also look at, take everything through a public health approach, is understanding the data. You have to make data-informed decisions. So how is the issue, what are the issues and how is it showing up by the data, both by the numbers and by the stories that people are telling you? Understanding what are the root causes of those issues that people are concerned about. And then hearing people about, one of my favorite questions is, if you had a magic wand, what would your solution be to X issue? And then actually garnering and gathering feedback from people about what are the solutions that they want to see for themselves. And then moving in government, seeing, okay, who's already assigned or accountable for helping implement these solutions that people are asking for. So right there, I laid out my roadmap for if I am appointed, I would plan on having conversations with people from every corner of Aurora, understanding that this is one of the most diverse cities, not only in Colorado, but in the country. And so you're going to have a lot of different perspectives and voices that sometimes feel as though they're not being heard. I will make that effort to give them an opportunity to raise their voices and share feedback with me.
Thank you.
Councilmember Murillo, you're recognized for 4 minutes.
Mayor, thank you for applying, for being here today. Can you share what you, and define the role of policing, and what, if any, reforms you'd like to see implemented?
Yeah, sure. I don't think that the role of policing needs to be defined further than what's on the side of the car is to serve and protect. I think first and foremost, that should be the role of any and everybody who enters into law enforcement. It is a role of service. One of the, as far as reforms, I don't know if I would say this was a reform, but I would say that what I would love to see in Aurora and in the rank and file all the way up into leadership is that each officer has been trained on trauma-informed practices as far as policing. So working with the peace officers, in training, I can't remember the S, but with the Attorney General's office, that trauma-informed practices, emotional intelligence, mental health first aid, and implicit bias training is part of the training for every single law enforcement officer, again, from the rank and file up into leadership. When people have those basic understandings of why a person, whether they're a suspect or just an individual, may react or respond in a certain way when approached by law enforcement from a trauma-informed lens, it lessens the likelihood that that incident is going to escalate into, at a minimum, someone going to jail. Everybody goes home. That's really the point I'm trying to make. Other than that, I want to make sure I would advocate for making sure that the force is reflective of the communities that are being policed, although that does not mean that officers of color only police communities of color or vice versa, because bias shows up regardless of a person's skin color. So that's, again, why the implicit bias training would be something that I would advocate and push for.
For consistency's sake, I'm going to ask this next question, but you might have already answered it. How will you prioritize health and safety, given your response?
Prioritize health and safety as far as law enforcement and police department?
Policing.
Yeah. You're right. I believe I answered that, and making sure that, again, the minimum amount of training includes trauma-informed practices, implicit bias training, and other trainings that look at the holistic of a person who, within the community that a police officer is assigned to.
Gotcha. And then last question, do you have any existing relationships on city council that will influence your vote if you are appointed?
No, that's an easy one, no.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Sonnenberg, you're recognized for 4 minutes.
Here today. Let's see, what are a couple challenges that you see in the city we really need to address, and what are a couple of successes that we've done well at as a city, do you think?
Can I answer in reverse?
Feel free.
I am always proud of all of the, when I look at the city's website, or when I'm in the mechanics of my job looking for resources in order to help a young person, a family, or connect someone to a community service that exists. Aurora has stepped up in ways that I think other cities should be ashamed of. When I was working with the city of Denver overseeing the youth violence prevention program and the development of it, Aurora was the first city that says we want to have a youth violence prevention program that works in coordination with what you all are doing, and dedicate and allocated funding to community organizations in order to have community-led and community-based solutions being implemented there. I think that's wonderful. And I think another thing is the city of Aurora as a whole has a reputation of being a great place for all people. Just even as I was standing out in the hallway there, I was looking at all the flags. I don't know if I've ever been in a city, and I've been in a lot of them across the country, that really embraces the diversity of its residents in a way that is forward-facing. To the other part of your question, some of the challenges. Again, I've been to a lot of places in this country, a lot of traveling. I'm recognized as being at kind of the forefront of youth violence prevention and gun violence prevention, so I've done a lot of traveling. And the flip side of that coin about our reputation is this narrative about being overrun by crime. And, people ask me where you're from, and I say Aurora, and they say, oh my God. And I'm like, it's not really like that. It's actually a great place to live. And so I think we have some work to be done here in the next few weeks, few months, next year or so, to really reestablish ourselves as a safe, healthy, welcoming, hopeful place for our citizens. And that's really important to me because in my work in violence prevention, one of the things that is a truism that when people don't feel hopeful, they also, when they feel hopeless, they also act recklessly. When I'm working with young people who feel like their only option is that one day I'm going to end up in prison or one day I'm going to end up homeless, they make really dumb decisions. And so I think it's our job as city leaders to make sure that our residents have that hope, and then back that hope up with services and service in order to minimize that sense of hopelessness and that will minimize the recklessness, whether that's drug use, violence to themselves or others, their spouses, other people in the house or within the community.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. McMillan, can you be specific in terms of what you think our Aurora's approach should be to youth violence prevention?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I only have a few more minutes, but thanks for the question.
No, yeah, 4 minutes.
So for youth violence prevention, Mayor, we have to look at it as in the complexity that exists. Most people say youth violence prevention and they think of three different things. And prevention is really much more complex than an after-school program or a mentor who's working with them. It could be multiple things. And so there's really three approaches that I would encourage the city to take. One is investment in what I would call the social determinants of health. That's housing, that's education, that's economic upward mobility opportunities, healthcare, all of the things that keep us safe and healthy. Secondly, it's investments in the after-school programs. It's making sure that the kids who will probably never ever experience gunfire or any types of violence, whether it's peer violence, relationship-based violence, school violence, violence at home, making sure that they have what they need in order to stay on that path. But then there's the kids who have experienced violence, whether it's because someone in the household, it's the community that they grew up in, maybe it's the school, something's happened. It's those interventions right there that say, we recognize that something has happened in your life that may get you on the wrong path. We're here to support you with the right types of services, the right types of people, the right types of support. And then lastly is the people, well, no, I'm sorry, not lastly. There's the young people who in the small percentage of young people who are involved in a violent lifestyle. It's also connecting them to people like me who have been in that lifestyle, have made some changes, and know how to navigate the system to help them get the wraparound supports that they need. Right now, Aurora is partnering with an organization called AIM, the At-Risk Intervention and Mentoring Program. So when a young person is shot, experiences violence, is shot, and ends up at the hospital over there in Colfax and Peoria, there's a mentor who shows up at bedside immediately to make sure that that violence is interrupted and that that person won't go further down that path and make better choices. The last piece of that, which is related, is making sure that there's the post-incident interventions that also need to happen. I think about specifically what happened 12 years ago at the theater right down the street. This entire community was injured. Not just the folks who were killed, not just the ones who survived, not just their families, but everyone in this community was wounded that night. And we have to make sure that our mental health services, our social services, our economic services are set up to be prepared to work with the victims of any type of violence long term. Because it's not just like a scab that heals over when you cut yourself. These are emotional, mental, and sometimes spiritual wounds that happen that we as a city, again, should be prepared to provide for our residents.
Thank you. You have 1 minute for wrap-up summary.
Oh, thank you. This has been actually pleasurable. I was a bit nervous. I don't get nervous much, but I was a bit nervous walking in here. You all have been very welcoming. In my closing remarks, I just guess I want to reiterate that I applied because I felt like it was an opportunity for me to bring some, maybe it may sound ambitious, it may sound egotistical, but some balance to the council. I consider myself, again, a very pragmatic person. I think my track record also speaks for that. I hope during our time together, you heard I have a very strategic mind in seeing that if there's a root cause to something, that if there's an issue, we have to find out the root cause and be very direct about approaching that issue. And I would plan on bringing that same type of pragmatism and strategic thinking, and of course, again, servant leadership to this council, if you all have me.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So as I understand it, we should just proceed at this point in time. Or we come back at 5:30?
5:15.
5:15? Very well, okay. The study session stands in recess until 5:15. What?